go. Sorry, some streaming issues. Hello on YouTube, hello on Twitch, and welcome to another episode of my Hearthstone Let's Play series. This is Northstar. Hope you're well. Taking care of each other and being kind to yourselves. For those new to my channel, welcome. Returning viewers, welcome back. I am exhausted, but I need to know Tavern Brawl for quest. Oh, I do hate the 12-second thing, but at least it's fast. Hopefully I can knock out. I don't even have to win out. No, I do. I have to win this one. Tavern Brawls, annoyingly. It's that early in our battlegrounds. Those two are even harder because like 1 out of 8 or 1 out of 16 people win in them. So, and that's if it's random. It's not. I'm not familiar enough with the new cards still, and it'll take me longer than normal people with my long COVID.
Uther versus the Lich King.
The odds of my winning like 1
You
or less.
could not stop me then. You will not stop me now.
So I had to take a long rest.
Fight with honor.
Well, they shut up. I had to take a long rest after my stream before. Ate a little. Watched a YouTube video about how Fallout's pre-war America was a nightmare, which is probably true. Although what was distinctly missing from the comment section, and of course whenever I mention it, YouTube shadow bans half the comments, is socialism. Socialism is how, you know, they could have distributed resources more fairly and not ended up in a kind of societal collapse that they did in the Fallout world. Of course, heck, even mentioned on a Twitch stream or YouTube, I swear there's a lot of subtle censorship.
None will survive.
And here's the Death Knight. Overpowered.
I see you've brought
I
have but little time.
eventually gonna upgrade a deck for them. But Demon Hunter's bad enough. Death Knights are even more ridiculously overpowered.
Reporting for duty.
Just gonna chew through my cards with that stupid
But
staff.
little time.
Causes nasty things to me with the plagues, and does damage and
Move quickly.
it's overpowered. Especially with the way that Death Knight's works is
Battle.
Reporting for duty.
beat him early purposes. Eventually.
I have but little
Yeah.
time.
No question about it. What is full of the weird black hair everywhere, I wonder. Oh, what species was it before? It looks almost like a, I don't know, gorilla.
Reporting for duty.
The light dims, but we will fight.
Brazen Zealot, but
I have but little time.
shoot through that.
Everybody needs a castle.
Move quickly.
Righty then. Let's make it a little nastier for him to.
I don't have enough mana. To
I
battle.
mean, I don't have enough mana.
Battle.
Oh, I tried to do the hair part on top of that. Whoops.
I have but little time.
I'm sure it can take 4 damage to do her.
Move quickly.
today.
Reporting for duty. The battle!
Darn it! I didn't get to use my last mana.
Time.
I do not like this 12-second thing. I do not like it at all. That trade's well enough.
You shall not win.
I must move quickly.
Nothing scares me. Except waiting for duty.
The battle! To battle! To battle!
Yeah. This guy isn't quite perfected his Death Knight deck, as it seems. Time is on our side, and you have to use taunt minions for it. Minions do not have. Well, they did have a wave of tar there, it seems.
I must move quickly.
That's overpowered with the minions cost more nonsense.
Reporting for duty.
And I should have been able to get that one cost earlier.
Little time. Rise
Really?
and serve your king.
That's just overpowered. They can deal 10 damage to anything. Alright.
I must move quickly.
Reporting for duty.
This last act of sacrifice is mine. I have but little time.
Throw away all those ghouls. Now we get no much. Are you kidding me?
I must move quickly.
Do not confine yourself to
Reporting for duty.
I have but little time.
Dead. This is the nonsense Death Knights can do.
That's an upgrade! Probably. Glory to the Sindora!
Reporting for duty.
I have but little time. You look tasty.
You have earned an eternity of torment.
I must move quickly.
Plagues that draw this game are on it. Are you freaking kidding me?
Reporting for duty. For Northstar.
I have but little time.
sorry, the cards he gets, he had a few. First, it looked like I might have a chance to win, but then the ridiculously overpowered Death Knight cards just 5 ghouls, 5 with rush. That stuff like that's just no.
Move quickly.
Reporting for duty.
Mount up. To arms, men.
Operation!
Battle.
I mean, this may be powerful, but it's not going to win.
Everybody needs a casket.
I must move quickly.
Reporting for duty.
Battle.
Operation!
Duty calls. Charge.
Only real chance to kill this hero quick enough.
I have but little time.
And suddenly he has an unending number of control units. Gets a really big minion when he needs it. But then he has all the control cards in the world when he needs it too. This guy's perfect. His slow start allows me to even get what cards to hack in.
I must move quickly. Reporting for duty.
Operation!
Duty calls.
I have but little time.
The citadel stands strong.
Death cannot be bound.
The Death Knight stuff. I'm able to keep him attacking my minions instead of the other way around.
I must move quickly.
That feels good.
And even so,
I don't need any of you.
Reporting for duty.
even with him, even so, he has a huge advantage, which normally if you're having to constantly attack another guy attacking your face, you'd be at disadvantage. What do you think? Alright, he just happens to have lifesteal. Backer. There's no way that wasn't hacking. Doing nothing smart in the beginning and selling in all cards it needs later. It's probably looking for security vulnerabilities. Probably actually my own, but I should update my antivirus firewall. It's probably actually a vulnerability in my own computer, not in the Blizzard servers, which are probably much better protected. So I suppose in some ways it's my own fault. Not being more security conscious if it is what I think it is. Oh well. But it's hard. I have long COVID and I have barely enough energy to keep on top of anything. And this is not the only game I play. I'm trying to stream a ton of games to get to where I can monetize part of this program. It's by my social security application. Very much too sick to do most of my jobs. Sacrificed so many lives in the ultimate profit with the pandemic. Really. And mine's kind of one of them. I didn't die, but I was disabled by long COVID, which slashed the research budget for just so we can cut taxes on the rich. Even more, that's capitalism in a nutshell, because the very rich, the bourgeois, or the capital-owning class, they're the ones who always are ending up either paying less taxes or contracts with huge profit margins and other stuff. Profiting from this, cutting social programs and cutting research budgets. and we opened things up too early. Compare this to, say, Vietnam, which did a massively better job handling the pandemic than the United States. They had more trust in government than, say, of course, than, say, China, which, you know, more authoritarian socialism. People don't trust the government there as much. But they had the benefits of socialism. China, by the way, did try and take some strong actions with COVID, but they did things like locking people in apartment buildings and destroyed who were infected to try and stop them getting out and spreading the virus, and it just destroyed people's faith in government and non-compliance. It ended up backfiring. Vietnam, you know, people are a lot less fearful and suspicious of the government there than China, so it worked out better for them. South Korea originally had a strong start tailing the pandemic, but then predictably the profit motive and corporations rebelling against some of the measures undermined it, and things didn't stay so good there.
This ends now.
North Korea actually did very well too.
With honor.
They basically just shut down a lot of their economy. You're like, oh, what economy? Well, I mean, sanctions mean they're always on the verge of survival because the U.S. isolates them from the global economy. No small country can survive well that way. But they did put people before profits, even though they had people before money. Profits capitalist concept of paying the workers less than the value they produce, that difference in the profit. But yeah, they put people before money for economic growth in North Korea. And South Korea, for only initially, as I said, they like the banking. They have these, they're called chaebols. They're like part crime family, part banking institution. And they, I guess, predictably,
Reporting for duty.
didn't like all the spending on public health and pandemic measures in South Korea, and it undermined it. Korean War, a horrendous thing the U.S. did in that war. U.S. very much the aggressors in that war, despite painting North Korea as South Korean government, which is a puppet regime of the United States. Very much.
Who are we
Just a
hitting
kind of
today?
waste to attack. You have more than one attack. Normally with this, you have to use on a 1 health minion. Have 2 or 3 attack. Anyways,
Time grows short.
so at the end of World War II, the U.S., by the way, nuked Hiroshima and Nagasaki just so Japan would surrender earlier, so it would control more of the territory of the Japanese Empire, and that includes South Korea, which the U.S. never came into as liberators. They just came in by South Korean government. I mean, sorry about that. Japanese government occupied South Korea at the end of World War II. Immolation aura created by Hive Map. Well, I guess Discover does mean you often get the most appropriate thing.
Reporting for duty.
Job done.
But, so rather than allow free and fair elections, because U.S. Army and CIA intelligence said free and fair elections would lead to the communists winning, the U.S. said, oh, it's not time yet. We need more time to prepare for elections. Meanwhile, the South Korean government was hunting down and murdering communists throughout this area. There were several well-documented massacres of communists there. So, after hero attacks someone, etc. Great.
Battle!
Boom.
I don't need any of you.
Boom.
Time grows short.
And yeah, so propaganda and population again to make them not like communism, and killing communists and delaying peninsula elections. Because free and fair elections held me really good if had communists win, but that's democracy. They should have won. And that was the reason for that is because Soviet troops had liberated the northern half of the Korean Peninsula. U.S. troops never came to southern Korea as liberators. Again, they were just handed it by the Japanese, so people had... It was just like... The new bosses are just like the old bosses. They didn't really see a huge difference in the U.S. and Japan. In fact, the U.S. kept a lot of the same people in power in the South Korean government. It had been an occupation government of Korea during World War II. The surviving part was in Southern Korea because the North Korea part was wiped out by the Soviet army. So they didn't see a difference. The U.S. kept some of the same people in power, some of the collaborators who worked for the Japanese, kept some of the same institutions in existence, in fact, just renamed them a little bit. People were rightfully suspect of the, American forces. And, rather than accepting, that democracy here means you have to allow free and fair elections, the U.S. refused. And then the South Korean government, here's the thing, was constantly threatening to invade North Korea, and they were carrying out armed raids into North Korea, and so they were spending special forces blowing up bridges, killing people in these armed raids. And eventually the North Korean government had enough of it, and they declared war over one of these armed raids. That was the casus belli for the invasion, is that they had suffered armed raids that killed their soldiers. Kind of like the U.S. bombed Venezuela and killed Venezuelan soldiers. So, yeah, but South Koreans were aggressors, and the South Korean government was a puppet regime, which makes the U.S. the aggressors in that war.
Reporting for duty.
To battle!
Not something you'll get in American history books.
Time grows short.
How do you... I ran out of time. Okay. Lucky me. Guess I'm not the only one who sometimes runs out of time.
That's an upgrade! Probably. To battle!
Nothing scares me.
Answer
Reporting for duty.
Maybe better not to play Blessed Good so he doesn't know what that other card is than to play it and reveal it.
time grows short.
I don't know. We could have just not done that augment. Menor traded a Silverhand Recruit and that Raptor. Oh wow. Of course he's gonna have Taunt. Tiamat is a favorite for certain types of decks, I understand. This guy is, by the way, clearly playing like you. I have no question that he's not cheating.
To battle! To battle!
Fortunately,
Is
he
that it?
is probably not gonna win.
Time grows short.
I almost want him to win just because I see no signs of cheating. Worth honesty. But yeah, so wars, obviously. I mean, a contentious thing. I don't know whether self-attacking that, or you don't think. Okay. Maybe he wasn't looking at his hero at all. Probably just choosing in terms of uses on it. But yeah, don't forget the Korea had been a unified country for a very, very, very long time. And even under Japanese occupations, the North Koreans were just trying to reunify their country by attacking a puppet regime that had been a puppet regime of the Japanese. The U.S. had basically refused to abolish that government. To hold free and fair elections that would have led to the communists winning, and kept a lot of the collaborators. I forget the Korean term for these collaborators. They had a term for them. Just the French had a term for those that collaborate with the Nazis that was insulting, and so was the Korean one for the, yeah. Crypt map. Discover a Frostern card. If you play it this turn, also pick one of the others. Powered Death Knight stuff. Story of Umbra. Discover a death rattle mean that costs 5 or more. Summon it and trigger its death rattle. Urgh. Five or more, so very often 6 or 7, and yeah, just overpowered nonsense. Bankar taunt can attack, has +3 attack if you control a location. Many of which are expensive cards to craft. Dozen Dragon for a Druid. Not a bad card. Daydream Pixie at the end of your turn. Get a random nature spell. Unfortunately, the thing is very vulnerable unless you have taunt minions to protect it. So yeah, North Korea was trying to reunify a peninsula, trying to deal with the puppet government that had been attacking them and killing their soldiers and blowing up their infrastructure. And, you know, in response, and at the same time, the U.S. managed to get the UN to declare it unprovoked aggression, which is a load of nonsense, because at the time the Soviets were boycotting the UN because the US was basically illegally refusing to seat the People's Republic of China in the United Nations, claiming that Taiwan really represented the people of China, which is nonsense, and eventually it was resolved. Eventually the US had to give on this, but boycotting the UN was a stupid move on the part of the Soviets because it allowed the US to give themselves a legitimacy in the Korean War. Oh, look, it's a UN-sponsored intervention. Making it look like we were the good guys, and we weren't. And we bombed everything in North Korea, bombed whole cities. It was worse than World War II, where we firebombed whole cities in World War II. It was horrific. And, talk about what that was like, because censorship and this, gotta keep this rated T, but yeah, US, we're not the good guys. We inflicted horrendous suffering on North Koreans, because they wanted to drive out a foreign imperial power that was splitting their country in two and had been attacking them. And, you know, they believed in the ideology of communism, yeah, and so did enough people in South Korea that peninsula-wide elections would have resulted in a unified communist government. Because even without Soviet troops during March, there's liberators. You know, there were many communist sympathizers in the South, and of course, most people in the North favored communism. So, you know, would have been, I don't know, like maybe 70% people in the North and 30% of the South or something. But it would have ended up with majority communist. Although they would have probably had a small lead, and it probably would have ended up like Venezuela today, where there's a socialist government, but there's a strong anti-socialist opposition in the country. So the U.S. didn't even really have that much to worry about. We should have just allowed the elections. That's what democracy calls for. But Truman was a terrible human being, and he's the one who really set us in the path of not having democracy there. He was also not supposed to be the vice president. The U.S. Vice President from 1940 to 44 interacted with Wallace, not to be confused with George Wallace, who was a racist, a terrible human being. Henry Wallace was an anti-racist, an anti-segregationist who wanted to desegregate the South and open up all sorts of social services, make everything so, you know, black people could access everything that white people could, which was not the case under FDR's New Deal. He'd been the vice president of the country after FDR, and well-liked by voters, especially in the Midwest where he was from, and especially Democratic voters. The vast majority of Democrats favored him over Truman. Most of them didn't even know who Truman was. The Democratic Party bosses had tried to stop him from becoming vice president in 1940, but FDR threatened to resign from the ticket and just let the Republicans win. If the Democrat Party bosses did that, if they rigged the 1940 convention against Wallace, that they didn't. because that threat, although they were going to, until FDR made that threat. But in 1944, FDR was too sick to pose them, and so they tried again, and they succeeded this time. They got away with breaking the 1944 party convention against Wallace, made Truman the vice president, knowing FDR was going to die, and so they backdoored Truman into the presidency. And Truman barely squeaked into re-election when, I think, what was it, 1948, whereas Wallace would have won by a landslide because he was... The majority of Republicans liked him. Republicans liked him. Independents liked him even more, and Democrats liked him by overwhelming numbers. He was an extremely popular man. He was also a pacifist who didn't really want the U.S. in World War II, although he understood the necessity after Pearl Harbor. But he was an anti-fascist from the very beginning. He spoke about the evils of fascism, and he tried to encourage people in Europe to rise up against the fascists before World War II started. Of course, that was naive. He was a bit naive, but he was a good person. He had the interests of ordinary Americans at heart, and he would have made a much better president than Truman, who started the Cold War to justify U.S. empire. And that's how we get in the world now, where U.S. is like, let's attack Venezuela, and they're not even hiding that it's about the oil. Every time Jon Stewart does an excellent, funny bit on how Lindsey Graham tries to wrap it up. Oh, it's about political prisoners. Oh, it's about democracy. And then Trump says, oh no, it's about the oil. Embarrassing, Graham. But proving that that's what this has been about all along, all these wars. It really has just been about the oil and the resources. The U.S. is a global empire, and it needs to fall, as all empires do when they get so decrepit and corrupt and evil, because the longer an empire goes on, the more evil it becomes usually. It's going to be tough times, though, afterwards. There's no question things are going to get worse before they get better. Well, anyways, I wish you all the best. Do take care of each other, especially in the rough times that are likely to come. Be kind to yourselves, and may you always find a guiding star to lead you home, viewers. Until next time, it's Northstar. Do best luck to you all.